is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
Yeah, well, this is how they're going to do it. It's already started. ID 2030, Internet ID, One ID, the cashless system. It's all started and it's moving faster than a speeding train. You know, it's like flying down the freeway and somebody tells you in the car, they're like, listen, we're going to drive for 20 minutes. And I want you, in the end of those 20 minutes, I want you to tell me your 10 favorite billboards. Now, on an average road, you may think, oh, well, that ain't going to be a problem. I mean, there's one billboard every so many 5 miles or something. You may have clusters here and there. But what they don't tell you is you're going to go 200 miles an hour and there's going to be a billboard one every 4 feet. That's seemingly what it's like for somebody like Covert Radio, with the amount of information and in the amount of events that are happening right now on the stage. Andrew Tate being critical part of this, and it all ties in together. Are you in a sexless marriage? Are you in a sexless relationship? And that's a question for the women. We're going to talk about something that I'm telling you nobody has ever told you. This is something Covert Radio has touched on in the past. My disdain and hate for pornography and what it has done to America, what it has done to the psyche of men, and what it's really starting to do to women. One of the newer statistics is that pornography is watched by 72% of women. The millennials are not having relationships. Gen Z, they're so confused that I don't even know, like, in another 3 months. Now, with a penis, now, I mean, I identify as a, like, they're doing a great job, man. The communists are doing, like, I can't even say the communists. Let's just say the Satanists. Because at the end of the day, that's really what this is. This is the loss of your soul. This is the loss of your soul. You know, Covert Radio has talked about the Bible here and there. And I'll never forget several years ago when, I had a lot of Patreons. Well, I don't know. That's all relative, but I remember getting an email or a message from one of them, and they told me, Covert Radio, if you can't quit talking about God or Christianity, if you can't talk, if you can't stop all that, then I'm going to have to remove my support and my Patreon status. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it all out. And my first reaction was like, because I have a very hard time with people giving me ultimatums. You know, I'm like that guy that's just like, what? Better look who you're talking to, number one. Better take some of that bass out of your voice before you try to give me an ultimatum. And I don't care what it is. Don't ever try to give me an ultimatum, because I will accept the challenge on any level. That's just, it's like a, you know, I'm not saying I'm right. It's just literally like a, it's one of my big flaws. Like, I have a very serious problem with people trying to, you know, give me an ultimatum or give me I have a problem with authority. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things like that. But when they told me that, my first reaction was like, fucking dare you. I don't give, I'll wipe my, like, I don't care about your money. Take it, go. Nobody is going to tell me what I can and can't say. And I mean, even on every step of the ladder, the higher and higher and higher and higher people go, I can see how it becomes a problem. Again, not going to get into Andrew Tate, but that's where he's at basically right now. But I have a whole video coming up about him. It's also going to blow your mind. It's going to give you a lot of insight that, you know, you may not know. I never did like Andrew Tate. I can't stand his brother, Tristan. You know, these dudes came onto the scene, literally exploded from out of left field. And right there, I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. His dad was a CIA agent. Like, there's just so many red flags. I don't like the cockiness of like, I got a top G, you know, the Hustlers Academy. Like, it's so Sotomayor-esque to me, where you take advantage of young men who need help so you could buy another Bugatti. Like, fuck you. But, you know, for all we know, Andrew Tate and his brother sitting on some Rothschild compound on, 100,000 acre island somewhere that's not even on any map. And I'm dead serious about that. Because just like they, quotations, killed John Lennon, Catcher in the Rye, and just like they killed Bobby Kennedy, Sirhan, lots of tea, lots of sugar, ting, 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 bang, bang, dead. You know. You're not allowed to have that much power and influence over the minds of young people. You're just not. They took out John Lennon. They've taken a lot of people out, you know, just like Kanye West has said. If he would have went down the road that they were trying to push him down, it would have been, oh, we love his music so much. We loved, you know, that he had such a big library that we were going to release. And, you know, just like, you know, he said they were going to Michael Jackson me. Michael Jackson also had a lot of influence. So, I refuse to believe that anything about Andrew Tate is authentic. Anything is grassroots. It's anything but. But this isn't about this. Covert Radio has many times talked about Job, and not to get all into this, Job is a story in the Bible. It's about a man who loved God. He was a servant, completely faithful. Satan and God had a conversation, and basically Satan said, I guarantee you I can get Job to curse your name. Give me a shot at him, and I guarantee you, you think he's all faithful to you. You think he's, you know, there's no blame. Job could never blame you for what happens in his life. And I'm telling you, you give me a shot at him, I will have him curse your name. And God allowed it. Said, go ahead, but you can't kill him. You can't kill him. And it got to the point where Job, basically in one day, lost everything. His whole family died in one day, I know that. But it got to a point that he was crawling in the desert with boils all over his skin. Basically clinging on to the last 10 breaths of life that he had in him. And he never one time cursed God. He never one time cursed or blamed God. He kept asking, what did I do to deserve this? You know, it's like a lot of people in life are searching for something. I mean, obviously, we're all programmed in our own way. But, you know, there's a thought that says, you know, people, why am I still alive? Like, why am I still here? I have an answer for you. You're still here because God is not done punishing you yet. Or you're still here because you're not done being rewarded yet. I want to tell you something that Job has said. This will only take 1 minute. Job 31:1. I've made a covenant with my eyes. Listen to me. I'm going to read this, and this is pertinent to everything we're going to talk about. And I want you to understand something. I'm going to give you information right now that nobody is talking about and nobody is going to give you. And this is something that we've touched on. I've never dove deep in, and I don't want to make this long. Job 31:1. I've made a covenant with my eyes, which means I made an agreement. I made a promise, a sacred agreement, a covenant between me and my eyes. This is Job. I've made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? For what is the allotment of God from above, and the inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is it not destruction for the wicked and disaster for the workers of iniquity? Does he not see my ways and count all of my steps? If I have walked in falsehood, or if my foot has hastened to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. Job 31:1-6. He made an agreement with his eyes that he will not look upon young women in lust. He will not look at a young girl and be like, oh my, you have no idea what I would do to you. You have no idea. He made that agreement with himself, with his own eyes. And there are people that are way more interested in you losing your soul than you are. Listen closely to what I just said. There are people that care much more about you being soulless. They care much more about you being damned. They care much more about causing your soul to be trapped in eternal darkness. They care more about that than you do. I'm going to give you proof of that. You see this guy right here on your screen? His name is Al Goldstein. I believe he's still alive. He created a magazine, a porno magazine called Screw, and it was first published in 1968. Here's a quote from Al Goldstein, the publisher of Screw magazine, a pornography magazine. The only reason that Jews are in pornography is that we think that Christ sucks. Catholicism sucks. We don't believe in authoritarianism. Pornography thus becomes a way of defiling Christian culture, and as it penetrates to the very heart of the American mainstream and is no doubt consumed by those very same wasps, its subversive character becomes more charged. That's Al Goldstein, again, publisher of Screw magazine. The only reason that Jews are in pornography is that we think Christ sucks, and they want to demoralize you. They want to subvert you. They want to subvert your character, your soul, some would say. Pornography is a weapon. I've talked about this not really in too much depth here at Covert Radio, but I've talked about this, and I've said this before. Pornography is a weapon. It is used in psychological warfare. I can prove to you that it's been used in psychological warfare. It is continuously used in psychological warfare to hurt, tire, weaken, and demoralize a civilian population, a military population. It's psychological warfare. And it's also propaganda. This is nothing new. Joseph Goebbels, the Nazis, masters of it. Over the years, over the centuries, over the millenniums, probably, militaries have weakened their enemies through manipulation, demoralization. You know, and there's different variations of that. Like recently when the war was getting, really underway between Ukraine and Russia, there was all of a sudden these video clips being released where it was showing Russian soldiers being dragged out of vehicles onto the street and literally just executed and crying for their mother. And, this is demoralizing. This is psychological warfare. It's manipulation. Whether it's true or not, it's still to demoralize somebody, deflate them. The people who invented, that I know of, in modern history, I should say, the people who have invented the use of modern day pornography as a weapon are the Israelis. The Israelis, just like this guy, Al Goldstein. The Israeli military used pornography to mentally abuse the Palestinians. It was about 20-some years ago. The Israeli army pinpointed basically something that would be detestable It would be one of the most extreme sins in Islam. You can see they also hate Christ. It says here, the only reason the Jews are in pornography is that we think Christ sucks. Well, when they use pornography against the Palestinians, they must think Allah or whoever, Muhammad, whoever, they must think the same thing about them too. Because this was one of the most detestable sins that you can do to somebody who practices the Islamic faith. It is the ultimate demoralization. And I've touched on this a couple times over the years with Covert Radio, but I've never really gave you a in-depth explanation of it. And it's simple. The Israeli soldiers went in to a Palestinian-controlled media conglomerate. The Israelis seized control of about 4 or 5 major news stations in Ramallah, which is basically the capital, the biggest city in Palestine. They took over all of the media, all over the media, right? Geez, who owns the media? Yeah. What was Kanye West saying? I don't know. He's crazy. He's crazy cuckoo brains. Kanye cuckoo brains slinging horse shit. What kind of horse shit you talking about, boy? What kind of horse shit you mean there, Kanye West? What you talking about, boy? We love these raised. They're just God's chosen people, boy. I tell you right now, down here in Florida, down here in Texas, you speak up, you try to boycott our brothers in Israel, you try to boycott them, you get no government contract, boy. That's on the books. That's on the books, boy. That's the law. And that is the law. That is the law. But once they overthrew and took over all of the news stations, the Israeli military began to play pornography on just normal TV, similar to what they're doing today. I started watching Yellowstone. This whole time this was going on with Yellowstone. I never watched it because I knew I was going to love it. I don't have the time, and I kept away from it. I love Kevin Costner. I loved when he did Hatfields and McCoys. Loved it. 1923 now, Harrison Ford, the prequel to Yellowstone. You know, I'd watch a clip here, watch a clip there of Yellowstone. I'm like, man, I can't watch this. It's too good. I'm not tying up my DVRs. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not doing it because I'll love it. And I'm not going to have time to sit there and catch up to 2 or 3 or 4 seasons. Well, one day I said, let me just watch season 1, episode 1. That was it. Boop, boop, boop. Set my DVR up. Next thing I know, I have like 80 episodes, hour-long episodes. And I deleted everything after that because it was too daunting. There was no way that I was going to be able to watch all of it. Yeah, I don't even know. What am I talking about? I don't know. Yellowstone. Oh, yeah. So Yellowstone, there's basically pornography on television. This is A&E. This isn't A&E Plus or any of the paid services. This is right on television. Dropping F-bombs, naked women, full nudity. And I'm just in disbelief. I'm like, wait a minute, this is just regular TV, right? Very similar to what it's a constant descent. It's dipping your toe deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the cold water. Eventually, you get used to it. And that's what they've been doing to us for decades. For about the last 50 years, we have been under a psychological demoralization campaign to destroy the Christians in America, to destroy our morality, to destroy our families, to destroy our marriages, our children. Look at what the fuck they've done to our kids. Who can't even tell you what a girl is, who can't even tell you what a boy is. Who have teachers at 5, 7, 8 years old, who have teachers who are trying to tell them how to penetrate another boy if you feel like it. This is all documented. Constantly reinforcing LGBTQ and whatever else in a classroom, which has no place at all for that. And then what the Justice Department did to the parents who went to the school board meetings is they fucking put cases on the parents. Keep playing your games, guys. Yeah, you got to go first-person shooter with modern Call of Duty warfare. What game's coming out? What new PS5s? Put your VR goggles on. Everything's okay. No, you don't need women. You're an incel. You follow people like Tommy Sotomayor. Go ahead, keep giving Andrew Tate your money. That's going to make everything better because they're right. Women are bitches. The Palestinians reacted to the psychological attack exactly how the Israelis had hoped they would. They fell to pieces. They panicked. They had anxiety. They were pissed. They felt ashamed. There were some people that committed suicide because that is one of the highest levels of demoralization and shame that you can do to a Islamic man or woman. The hijabs, how they cover their bodies, and you have Israeli soldiers playing pornography right in their family homes, which is the only source of news, the only source of information that they had. They were horrified. There was nobody knew what was going on either. They did this in secret. And it just created a ton of chaos, instability, and Ramallah started basically falling apart. They stole the modesty, the morality, and the decency of the Islamic community in Palestine. And they corrupted them, they besieged them spiritually and psychologically. Because in Islam, it's very important in every traditional sense to have your appearance a certain way. The women act a certain way, dress a certain way. The men act a certain way, dress a certain way. And in case you missed it, this was like, I don't know, a month or two ago, there was a, what was her name? I think she was in the sports, or it was the World Cup or something. I forget what it was. She was 22 years old. And I don't even think she was in the country. She was in the neighboring country, and she basically violated the Islamic conservative dress codes that they have, the very strict dress codes. I don't know if she took her hijab off or something happened. I know she was exposed. She was arrested. 22 years old. She was arrested. She was beaten. And then she was ultimately murdered by the morality police for not complying. with the mandatory hijab dress code a job. That's how serious they are about decency, morality. And in places like Ramallah, pornography or any type of graphic nudity or anything, it's not tolerated because they believe that it defiles the mind, it defiles your soul, and it's just a detachment from God. Compare that to America. Compare that to the last 40, 50 years. The only question is what's next? It's not, of pornography. No, it's how much deeper and sicker and twisted is it going to go? What are they going to allow next on the television? What song is your little 10-year-old girl going to sing next? WAP is one of the biggest hits last winter or whatever it was. While you have leftist liberal snowflakes out protesting that Baby It's Cold Outside promotes rape. While you have songs like WAP being sung and promoted by little girls. This is the brain damage. And you have the same people trying to promote pornography right now. As if it's some sort of, rite of passage. I challenge any one of you guys to turn on the Game Show Network. And I know I've talked about this before. The Game Show Network, watch a show called Match Game. It was like on 74, 75, 76. I watch it every night. I have dinner with my wife. We watch Match Game. We have those on the DVR too. It's the old school Match Game. I don't know why we both like it. And the morality even then was so strong that they would not even say certain words. Like, they would never allude to anything that deals with feces. They would never allude to anything that deals with any level of sexuality, any level whatsoever. And around then is when they started normalizing the word boob to be said on television. And, everybody's up in arms. We're going to get letters. Oh, no, don't send us letters. They joke about it. But just watching the demoralization just from the middle to late 70s until right now, 40-some years, what the people who control the media has done to our families, our women, our children, our men. And right now, I'm telling you that pornography is the reason you are in a sexless relationship. Pornography is the reason you are in a sexless marriage. There has never been a higher percentage of sexless relationships than right now. It's up 50%. Intimacy are problems for Gen Z, millennials. They can't even be intimate because they've been watching women be destroyed and thrown off walls since they were 10 years old because their friend has his phone in school and they're all watching porn. Have been watching women being held underwater and the most just debaucherous acts have been done to white women predominantly. White women predominantly. And I've said this. More so, this is another weapon against the white race. So We have fentanyl that's specifically designed for our genome that is killing 1 out of whatever the number is right now. I told you guys last video that on my block, every house on my block, each house has somebody who has either died from heroin or fentanyl, or they're on methadone now because of heroin. There's not one house on my entire block around me that has not been touched by either fentanyl or heroin. Again, I know it's a multicultural problem, but opiates were specifically designed for the white genome. Look into it. Where have all the white people gone? They're not in commercials anymore, and it's almost laughable at this point, because you can still see the power structure remains the same. The people, the ad agencies, the writers, the publishing or the publicists, they're all in the same positions they've been when they were hiring white actors. And all they've done is they've taken All-American Joe Blow football player, male out, white guy, and they put in Ghetto Bob to do the exact same thing. The funny thing for me is, and I'm not saying that, there aren't black people that ski or go to lodges and they hang out in the mountains and, they drive 4x4 Ford trucks. I know there are. I have friends. But I also know it's not the norm. It is not the norm. I know that. On a mass scale, it is not the norm. But you have the Chinese wife, the Middle Eastern man, and the black kid are in a 4x4 going to the mountains with skis and ski boards or, snowboards, going to the cabin. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I could tell you that that's not a fair representation at all. So it's clear the power structure stays the same, but they've erased all the white people as the actors, and they're just plugging in whoever. The more diverse, wheelchair, Down syndrome, Chinese, anything but white. Anything but white. That's the standard. And I also know why that's happening. But I have not done a show about that, and I'll blow your mind with that too. Look what they've done to our country, our people, our neighbors, our friends. Look what they've done. They've hijacked our country. They've demoralized it. And they're causing our young men and women to lose their souls. Pornography is a weapon. It's been used against us just like the fentanyl, just like the heroin, just like the opiate pills. It's all been a ploy from Zionist and communist to destroy all the young, fighting age men and women who are able to protect this country. And the ones who have volunteered and signed up for the Marines are made to wear red high heels and run around with their pant legs rolled up, who have months and months of gender study courses and 2 weeks of courses on how to save your life in an active war zone. Why is that? Because this war that we're about to be in has nothing to do with people fighting in the street. That's going to be an afterthought after the bomb smoke's clear, the power grid sparkles in, out, in, out, in, out. The food is gone. The ammunition is gone because of all the riots and the fighting in the streets. And they are literally just going to walk in. That's it. They're going to walk in. They're not going to run. They're not going to jog. They're not going to sprint. They're going to walk right up to your house and just swing the door that was kicked open 6 months ago when the grid first went down. People will only go 3 days without food before serious problems start. And they'll go about a week before they'll kill somebody for something to eat. Everything we've been through in the last couple years has been a run-up to what's about to happen. I have so much information for you guys. And I didn't want to make this video long. I didn't even get to my links here, but this is part one. Where are we at? Let's see here. Yeah, 40 minutes. I'm okay with that. This is part one. Check back for the next Covert Radio show. Again, this is talk radio format. This is something basically you turn on, you listen to, and you go about doing what you were doing. But I will have a part two for this, and we're going to get to a couple links here I have. This is really what I wanted to talk about was really ID 2030. Here it is. This is it. Louisiana residents will now need a government ID to access pornography online. This is unbelievable. This is Act number 440, House Bill number 142. It was passed into law. It just went into effect. Louisiana residents will now need a government ID to access porn. It's unbelievable because this is the start of your ID 2030 agenda. This is the start of your internet ID. That we've already started down the road of cryptocurrency and digital currency, and this is how they're going to get the next generation. This is how they're going to do it. Next, you're going to need an ID or your license to play a video game. This is how they've done it. I always wondered how they're going to unleash it and how people will accept it. This is how they're going to accept it. Pornography is an addiction. It creates dopamine. It's an addiction. It's a real addiction. And it really is destroying families, destroying relationships. And when somebody's addicted to something like that, they're going to get it. And if all it means is showing their digital ID, yay, no problem. So this is how they're going to do it. This is the start of it. I'll link these articles. Maybe I won't go do a part two on this. I don't know. But I'll link these articles if you guys want to look through them. I was surprised about YouTube removing Pornhub over multiple violations. Okay. Yeah. I love down here, it says, let's see here. YouTube has removed Pornhub's official channel over what it called multiple violations of its community guidelines. Pornhub's YouTube channel first launched in 2014. And it had 900,000 subscribers, but it no longer is on YouTube. It's not in the search engine. There's no URL, and there's a 404 error when you try to go to it. YouTube said that Pornhub violated its policy against linking to sites that host content not allowed on YouTube. Upon review, we terminated the channel Pornhub official following multiple violations of our community guidelines, a spokesman said. We enforce our policies equally. Yeah, fucking right. And channels that repeatedly violate are dedicated to a violative content are terminated. Pornhub's parent, MindGeek, said that it vehemently denied YouTube's claims that it linked out to porn sites. All right, so let me ask you this. You vehemently deny that you linked out. Then why is Pornhub on YouTube? What do you make super soft, kid-friendly content? Like, why else would you not use YouTube to promote your other pornography conglomerate sites that mine crap or whatever it's called, who's also owned by a tribe member, Fabian Thielman. Yeah. I'm not even getting into it. But yeah, multiple violations. They, what's that? They performs like sex workers, marginalized. Okay, whatever. But I'll link this. You guys can read it. I mean, why else would a porno website be on YouTube unless they were saying, look, here's a little teaser. Go here if you want to see the rest of it. Come on. Vehemently denied it. Get the fuck out of here. I'm telling you guys, I don't even know. You can wake up and I mean, if you don't have the wherewithal to fight, if you're not ready for a fight, then it's over. It really, really, really is over. But I'm not going to stop fighting, and I'll lead the charge. If any of you guys want to get behind me, get beside me, I'm ready, and I will never stop. I will never stop until I'm stopped. I'm Covert Radio. You guys take care. Have a good day.